Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Asian Psycho, and I'm bringing you guys the newest NX submachine gun review. Yes, this is a submachine gun. The M249 Para is a submachine gun. Don't be fooled. I thought it was a machine gun at first, but it is indeed a submachine gun. So, before we get started on the review, though, I would like to make a correction to the clan recruitment thingy. The event that is going to take place tomorrow, Saturday, March, what day is it? 24th, and for that's Pacific Standard Time. So translate it to whatever you will, wherever you guys are living. And once again, it is from 2 to 6 p.m. In the afternoon to the early evening, and the times are subject to change. However, we will be cutting it short if we finish everything in before schedule, and we will have to go. We will be extending the time if we do find that we need more time. So just keep that in mind. The correction that I want to mention in this video before we get started on the power review is the fact that I have been let known that the room number is incorrect, or the channel number, because Gulf, or in the East server, the Gulf server does not have 5 channels. I put in one of my information videos that the event will be taking place in Gulf East channel 5. Well, the problem is there is no 5th channel. So what I've decided to do is we're going to be hosting in channel 4. Everything else is the same, the room information, the title, everything else and all. So if you guys don't know where to go, just look for the last channel on Gulf East, and you should be able to find our little room there. Now that we got that correction aside, let's talk about let's start reviewing the M249 Para. I'm going to be categorizing, I'm going to be classifying this video as an exploring the arsenal chapter, whatever the mini-me machine gun chapter was, because I don't remember off the top of my head right now. And I'm going to be putting it as like its NX standard variant, if you will, because the M249 is a kind of a machine gun class. I don't know what they were thinking making the M249 Para. Apparently it's a real gun, or, well, I don't know. If they really did make a submachine gun hybrid of the mini-me, then I'm going to be really amazed, because right now, to me, my brain is having a really tough time comprehending the hybridization of a submachine gun and a machine gun. Sure, like the Carbon 15 was a hybridization of an assault rifle and a submachine gun, but that's understandable. I mean, it's probably not too hard to make a real life gun like that, but a machine gun and a submachine gun hybrid, like, I mean they both have the word machine gun in their names, but come on now, they're so different. But anyways, in real life logic aside, let's start talking about the M249 Para. Once again, I will be classifying this as the NX standard variant of the mini machine gun, because technically speaking they are the same family. I mean, M249 mini-me, M249 Para, so there you go. So this is the newest NX standard submachine gun released just today, and yeah, it is part of the preview sale for this month, for this month's patch, that is. And rank unlock, there's none of that, because I mean it's NX. And cost right now, because it is preview sale, 11,900 NX for 90 days, and what is it, 24,000, pretty much $25 for permanent. Now, let's talk about the nitty-gritty stats of the M249 Para. The damage on the M249 Para is going to be a very strong 38. Now, if you guys remember back to my reviews on the T2, the my SAF, the VB Barapi LPO2, those submachine, the latest NX standard submachine guns up till this point, all of them had the same characteristic 36 damage, including the FMG9 Magpul, or the Magpul FMG9. Let's not forget about that one. And this time, though, Nexon has decided to break that pattern of giving all of its new NX standard submachine guns 36 attack or 36 damage by giving this one a 38 attack, which is understandable, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that Nexon had in mind a machine gun / SMG hybrid, as I fail a little bit right here. I feel really humiliation. Anyways, so because it is supposed to be like a machine gun sort of variant, the M249 Para does keep a characteristic of its machine gun side of things by having very good damage for a submachine gun, and I kind of wonder how well it performs against like other classic submachine guns like the P90 and the UMP. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go check out the Common Arms arsenal here and see how much the UMP and how much the P90 do up against the if we compare it to, say, like the M249 Para. Now, while I'm trying to search for those, we might as well talk about some other stuff while we're at it. The portability on the M249 Para is going to be a rather, or it's not low technically, but it still has a 79, I want to say, or no, 70 portability. So it's actually pretty slow for a submachine gun, well, compared to like the latest NX standard submachine guns anyway. So in that respect, it's actually kind of on the slow side. So it's kind of taking after its mini-me variant there. And moving on to its rate of fire. Its rate of fire is, I believe, 79. So then, like I said, it is showing its like its machine gun side of things by having strong damage but low portability compared to the other ones anyway, and low rate of fire compared to the other ones. So I don't know. Speaking in terms of its damage and its rate of fire, I would want to. It's one of those submachine guns where it's a heavier hitting but slower firing submachine guns, and like this characteristic shows up in other guns like the assault rifles, like you have the G36E and the AK-47 where they're heavier hitting but slower rate of fire assault rifles at the same time. So I've now pulled up the stat chart for the UMP. So UMP in comparison to the M249 Para deals a 37. So the UMP is 1 point less weaker than the M249 Para. So I believe the UMP 45, which is the NX standard variant of the UMP, also deals a 38 damage. So relatively speaking, the M249 Para does deal the same amount of damage as the UMP 45. So there you go. Accuracy wise is at a 66. So if we were to compare this to other submachine guns, well, the FMG9 Magpul is an exception, because I think that a submachine gun had like 70 accuracy, which is really wild for a submachine gun, or really off the charts for a submachine gun. I think it's more comparable to like the FMI SAF or something like that, and or other standard submachine guns. UMP, just for comparison's sake, does have a 67 accuracy, so in that respect, the UMP is better than the M249 Para. The recoil on the M249 Para is at a 65, so this is kind of taking towards like it's comparable to submachine guns like the FMI SAF and the VB Broppy LPO2, I believe, because those three guns have around the same recoil. Did I say portability? Whoops, I meant recoil. I don't know if I meant to say recoil, but in case I said portability, because I have a strong feeling that I said portability instead of saying recoil. That's what you get for trying to commentate this after getting only 2 hours of sleep and going through calculus tests. But that aside, there you go. So 65 recoil. As you see in this gameplay, the recoil can get out of hand though, because it does have a pretty hefty recoil. Compared to the UMP, in comparison, has a 63 recoil, but it has the same rate of fire. So overall, the UMP's recoil spread and pattern is generally better than the M249 Para. And the M249 Para's recoil spread expands very quickly. It'll reach its maximum spread very, very easily if you're not careful, or if you don't take out someone with within the first 6 bullets or so. So there you go. Recoil. Let's see what's the next one. Recoil Kickback. So Recoil Kickback per shot it's not too bad, but once you start spraying, the kickback will throw your aim off a little bit. So do be careful when you're trying to spray at, especially at middle range, because the kickback can be pretty devastating to your aim. It's not too bad compared to like other submachine guns like the PP-19, but it's definitely up there. Recoil Controlability, so taking the recoil kickback, recoil spread, and recoil control, all the recoil aspects in mind. The recoil controllability on the M249 Para in general is on the tougher side of things. It's definitely not as easy as like the P90 or UMP, but as long as you keep the M249 Para within very close quarters, nothing beyond middle range, then you should be fine, because as with all other guns and combat arms, your first few shots will be your most important, because they have the highest chance of striking your target first and dealing not necessarily dealing the most damage per se, but they will have the most chance of taking down your target as quickly as possibly can. So what you want to do is you want to go up to close, and you want to go up close and personal to people and spray them down as fast as you can before they have a chance to retaliate, so to speak. So that's how to use the M249 Para. If you do not kill your enemies within those first 10 rounds or so, you're going to have a difficult time putting them down if you don't remember to burst fire, because this game you won't see me burst firing at all, because I was testing to see how bad spread could actually get. So there's a little example for you guys. Make sure you burst fire, because it's going to be pretty important on the M249 Para. Otherwise, you're probably going to lose your gunfights beyond middle range anyway. So Tapfire Ability. So Tapfire Ability, because it has a slow rate of fire, it's like, I mean, it's not as insane as like the FMG9 Mag or all those 90 rated fire submachine guns. It's relatively easier to tap fire, but then again, this is a submachine gun, so why would you want to? Like, really? Why would you want to tap fire a submachine gun? And besides, the M249 Para cannot equip a scope on it. Once again, you cannot equip the scope on it. So I mean, that kind of takes a point out of tap firing anyway. So why would you want to bother? Moving on to the sprint drawback. The sprint animation and all whatnot, all its trivial mechanics stuff, take after the AT-22. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen my AT-22 review. If you have not, then I suggest you guys go watch it right away. For the guys who have not watched it but still know how the AT-22 performs, the mechanics of the M249 Para are exactly identical to the AT-22. The sprint animation, the draw animation, they're all the same. They are all the same speed to begin with. Or the M249 Para has a faster reload speed, but the animation is still exactly the same. So hopefully you guys get my drift. So sprint drawback comparable to the AT-22, but it's slightly faster because it is a submachine gun. So definitely it's meant to be run around with, or is that even proper grammar? Whatever. So its draw speed is very, very quick. It's just like the AT-22's draw speed, very, very fast. Moving on to the center speed. So the center speed on the M249 Para, I want to say it's either moderate or it's moderately fast. I don't want to say it's slow, because in my experiences with the M249 Para, it's just a spread that's pretty bad. The center speed is, I didn't have a problem with the center speed. It's not too remarkable, but then again, I didn't have a problem with it, so it wasn't really worth talking about, or it's not really worth kind of highlighting as a pro or a con, so to speak. So that's the center speed right there. Reload speed is insanely fast, just like it is on the VB Browpy LPO2. The VB Browpy LPO2 and the M249 Para have a very, very insanely fast reload speeds. And this game, you guys see me using an extended mag 1. I do have an extended mag 1 on this M249 Para, and even then it's reloading as if it has nothing in it. It has no magazine modifications, just like that, and it's done. So reload speed is a very, very big pro on the M249 Para, so make sure you guys utilize it. Very good for running and gunning. And I mean, it's still gonna take some time, the reload, especially if you're in the middle of a gunfight. But as long as you're running and gunning and always taking cover every once in a while, you should be fine on a reload. You're never gonna spend too much time reloading the M249 Para, even if you have an extended mag 2 on it. Now moving on to the fire modes. The fire modes, I believe it's only available in fully automatic. I'm gonna check to make sure. Yeah, so it is only available in fully automatic. I mean, Nexon's weapon page doesn't say so otherwise. So I'm gonna assume it's only available in fully automatic. So yeah, there you go. Luck. So the luck on the M249 Para is extremely high. You guys have probably noticed in this video, but I'm getting some very, very lucky lottos across the map. I think there's another lotto that's coming up here in this oil rig gameplay that I get a headshot pretty much across the corridor here on oil rig, like from my, just as I take a few steps outside the entrances from the alpha spawn, I want to say, and we'll spraying at the guy all the way across the corridor. I get a headshot off him. So the luckiness on this M249 Para is very, very high. So you you can adequately rely on this thing's luck in order to score you some lucky headshots, especially when you don't have any other option. It's like, for example, if you have no other choice but to spray at the head because you know that your spread's too bad, too wide to get you body shots, and you're about to die, you might as well spray at the head. Use your rest of your remaining ammo to spray at the head and hopefully score a headshot to keep yourself alive. So ammo capacity is at a standard 30 rounds in magazine and 90 in reserve. Once again, I do have an extended mag 1 on this, so that means that I have 40 rounds in magazine and 80 in reserve, not 30 but 80 in reserve. So that gives me 3 full clips of 40 rounds each. Now moving on to its key physical characteristics, it looks pretty much like the M2, or it looks like the M249. It's got an expandable it's got a very lengthened buttstock for whatever reason. Like, it doesn't even look like a submachine gun at all. Because when I first saw it on the Combat Arms weapon page, I was like, is that a machine gun? Or I honestly thought it was a machine gun until I checked its price tag. I was like, wait, they never sell machine guns for more than $20. And I found out it was a submachine gun. I was like, oh, it's a submachine gun. Oh, that awkward moment when you realize something's not what it is. Anyways, so it looks like a freaking a machine gun. I mean, just look at the picture, and you will probably be fooled if or you would have probably been fooled if I didn't tell you that it was a submachine gun before you watch this review. But then the barrel's a little bit shorter, and it's still got that overgrip kind of thing that the Mini-Me also has, and the Ultimax 100 also has. So it kind of looks like the M249 Para minus the box belt feed and the bipod, and yeah, plus the kind of rigid buttstock. So that's that. And moving on to the muzzle noise. So the muzzle noise on the M249 Para sounds kind of something like that. So I personally kind of like the M249 Para. It's not too amazing. It is very, very low frequency, and I want to say it sounds like some machine gun that I currently don't remember the name of. It sounds like something else, but anyways, as I have a little bit of fail there, lag, freaking droppage. Anyways, so the muzzle noise, I like it. It suits my needs, and it is pretty good because you cannot attach a silencer on this, unfortunately. So there you go. So moving on to the attachment options. Speaking of the devil, this attachment options on this M249 Para is exactly like the the VB Broppy LPO2. You can only attach magazine modifications to it. You cannot attach silencers or suppressors. You cannot attach sights or scopes. No nothing. Only magazine modifications, as you see me doing here. So moving on to the whether or not it's fire team worthy. Honestly speaking, I don't see a reason why you would bring this to Fireteam unless you really confuse this as a real machine gun. Comparatively speaking to other submachine guns, I mean, it is stronger. So depending on your situation, depending on whether or not you're a fan of bringing submachine guns into Fireteam games, you could bring the M249 Para. It's just that I don't know if it's worth it or not, because I mean, assault rifles are still much better at taking out zombies than submachine guns will ever be. But I mean, it's your call. So I personally think it's not really worth it, but it is stronger than the rest. So take it what you will. Moving on to whether or not it's quarantine worthy. It's not as quarantine worthy as other submachine guns, say like the 90 portability or like 88 portability submachine guns, like the FMG9 Magpul, the VB LPO2, the T2, and the FMI SAF, all those NX standard submachine guns that have been released before this one. Those are all much more quarantine worthy than the M249 Para, because the M249 Para, like I keep mentioning, is supposed to be a hybridization of submachine gun and machine gun, and it does take after its machine gun characteristics much more than it does after its submachine gun characteristics. So I mean, it's got heavy damage for submachine gun anyway. It's got heavy portability for a submachine gun anyway, and it's got a low rate of fire for a submachine gun anyway. How many times am I gonna say that? And it also kind of shares the fact that it can't attach anything other than magazine modification. So that kind of sucks, but what can you do? So quarantine worthy, maybe if you really want to bring it, then go ahead. It is a submachine gun after all, but I mean, you might. I think it's a lot better to bring like the VB Prop LPO2 or the FMG9 Magpul over the M249 Para. Moving on to my frank personal opinions about the M249 Para. The M249 Para is indeed one of my, well, it's not really one of my favorite submachine guns, but it is definitely very, very good. It does have a pretty good effective range. What I mean by that is the amount, like the distance from away from which you can be from your opponent, and still reasonably take them down in a reasonable amount of time. So the effective radius, or the range, not the radius, but range on the M249 Para is indeed very good, so that means it's got a pretty good damage drop-off, but because of its very big spread, you shouldn't engage any enemies beyond middle range. That other than that, that's no. So do make sure to keep your engagements controlled and under a situation where you know you can win, not like trying to log people across the map where, well, you see me do it sometimes, but I mean that's not a very good example. You should not try to do that unless you want to screw around and such. But yeah, the final rate, or my frank personal opinions on the M249 Para will be very positive. I mean, it is an extended submachine gun anyway, so Nexon's bound to make it overpowered in some way or another. It is very strong. Its pros are that it's very strong, and it can take people down very quickly. Its cons, though, there are probably more cons about it than its pros, and those cons are the fact that it's pretty much statistically inferior to all the other NX standard submachine guns that Nexon has released before this one, except for damage. But that damage buff itself, that 2-point increase in damage over all the other ones, are probably worth it alone to get this M249 Para. So judge for yourself whether or not you guys want to buy the M249 Para by the gameplay, obviously. So yeah, my frank personal opinions about this is very good, and if you guys, it's not really that overpowered because it does have a pretty severe damage drop off and a pretty severe recoil spread. But if you guys find it worth your time to buy this, then go ahead. It probably will be. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and next review will be on the most popular guns in combat arms, the highly anticipated G36E. So thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to the G36E family of reviews.
Round start.